Welcome to our detailed review of the TVS Apache RTR 204V. My name is Shubhajit and today we will be exploring how the 204V performs and excels in the challenging terrains in and around Siliguri and the highways around it. The TVS Apache RTR 204V has been a cornerstone in the 200 to 250cc segment, known for its blend of performance and agility. But before we begin, let me tell you about the other successful models of the TVS Apache series, like the Apache RTR 162V, 164V, and now the 164V dual-channel ABS that led to the formation of the TVS Apache RTR 204V that you guys so love. With a 197cc engine producing 20 PS of power and 17 Newton meters of torque, the Apache RTR 204V offers a thrilling ride whether you're navigating through city traffic or carving through the mountain bends. Talking about the engine of the Apache RTR 204V, it's a peach, to be very honest. I mean, if you take it out for a spin on the highways or in the city somewhere, the engine feels so tractable and so alive all the time. That's because of the readily available torque that is always available on tap. So say for example you're in the city and you have a vehicle right in front of you on your lane and you want to overtake and you're in a gear higher. You necessarily do not need to shift a gear down. What you can do instead is just twist the throttle and the overtake will be complete without changing a gear. That's how tractable the engine of the 204V is. Say for example, if I give you city speeds somewhere around the 40-50 kilometer mark, overtakes become such a joy. You do not need to drop a gear. You can just keep going and you do not need to be worried about that the bike is going to jitter or it's going to lag or you're going to feel any form of knocking from the engine. That's how good the engine of the RTR 204V really is. The aggressive stance of it and the comfortable ergonomics make it a versatile choice for short commutes as well as those long rides. So the 204V gives you a really comfortable riding position. The ergonomics are just spot on. Whether you're riding with a pillion or you're riding solo, this is going to give you enough leverage so that you can keep your back straight and you can keep going for a couple of 100 kilometers on the highway without breaking your back. So this is what the upper triangle feels like. You're sitting fairly straight on the bike and then the foot pegs, they sit right underneath your thighs. So the foot pegs are not really pushed backwards. So the leverage is always present. You do not feel very cramped on the motorcycle. You're sitting rather comfortably and you can enjoy your rides as long as you want to. So the 204V is equipped with 3 different riding modes, namely Sport, Rain and Urban, where Sport is a specific engine map and Rain and Urban is another specific engine map. There is no variable difference in between. What really happens is when you're riding in the Sport mode, it gives you all the power the engine makes, and when you're riding in Urban and Rain mode, the power is slightly tuned down. However, the bike comes equipped with 3 different levels of ABS intrusion, where Sport will give you the least ABS intrusion levels, while Urban and Rain will give you more of it, Rain being the highest and Urban being the lowest in those 2 different settings. There is a lot of competition in the 200cc segment, and motorcycles like the NS200, the Duke 200 and the Hornet 2.0 are direct competitors. There is a very interesting factor about all these 3 motorcycles. Let me give you the price bracket advantage of it before. The TVS RTR 204V comes in at 1.47 lakh with a 197cc engine that produces peak power of 20.5 bhp, while the NS has a 200cc engine, rather a 199cc engine that produces a peak power of 24.5 PS, which comes in at a price tag of Rs 1.48 lakh ex-showroom pan-India, while the Duke 200 with a 200cc engine making a peak power of 25 PS comes in at a price bracket of 1.97 lakh ex-showroom pan-India, and the Hornet with a 184cc engine generating a peak power of 17.3 PS comes in at a price range of somewhere between 1.39 to 1.4 lakh ex-showroom pan-India. Now with all of these given factors, there is something very special about the RTR 204V, and that is the engine of it. All the other three motorcycles that I have mentioned are rather slightly high-strung when it comes to the compression ratio that the engines are running. So naturally these engines become hotter much quicker and need to be put to rest. So there is a particular kilometer difference in between. That is, say for example, the Duke, the NS and the Hornet will need to be put to rest for a couple of hours after you've run it for say 450 to 500 odd kilometers. Whereas the Apache can keep going for 800, 1000, 1200 kilometers at a stretch without breaking a sweat. Now that's magic. The 204V also comes with a very accessible seat height. At 800 mm, it becomes a very lucrative option for anybody or a rider who's say, for example, 5 feet 5. Me, for example, I'm 5 feet 9 and I can easily flat foot the motorcycle with both my feet planted firmly on the ground. Even if you're a shorter rider, the bike will still accommodate. And if you are a slightly taller rider than me, the bike is still going to accommodate you. It feels like a very spacious motorcycle, regardless of how tall you might be, within the boundaries of 5 feet 5 to somewhere close to 6 feet. Let me tell you a little something about the suspension on the motorcycle. The RTR 204V comes equipped with Showa telescopic adjustable forks on the front that gives you 16.5 clicks of adjustability for preload, and you get a rear monoshock that gives you 7 steps of adjustability. So you can adjust the motorcycle as per your weight and as per the riding conditions that you will be taking the motorcycle into. Say for example, you're riding with a pillion, you're going to have to adjust both the suspensions, the front and the rear. However, if you're taking it out on a tour, the suspension setting is going to be slightly different. It's going to be a bit more plush, a bit more pliant to take in all those bumps and jerks that you're going to face on the road. And if you're going to take it to the track, you're going to have to dial the setting in to make it a much stiffer feeling suspension on the front so that you do not get a lot of dive while you're braking hard. So I think the suspension more or less takes care of every scenario that you might be able to take the motorcycle into. Let me tell you a little something about the brakes of the 204V here. Say for example, when you're riding in the city at 50-60 kilometers an hour, the brakes are gonna do a fairly decent job of stopping the motorcycle when and where you want it to. However, when you're riding it a bit faster on the highways, the brakes could have definitely been better. However, I have a very nice fix for it. What you can do is, you can switch out the rubber hoses that come factory fitted on the motorcycle. You can switch them out for steel braided lines and your problem is solved.
In the 200 to 250cc category, the Apache truly stands out with its superior power delivery and super agile handling. That makes it a top contender amongst enthusiasts. Check this out.
The Apache RTR 204V also comes equipped with TVS's Smart Connect technology that lets you hook up any of your smartphone with it, which gives you access to all your ride information. Siliguri's diverse terrain actually puts to test as to how capable the Apache 204V really is, showcasing its nimbleness in the mountains near the city and the stability of it on long straight highways. As a prospective buyer, when you're out on the market looking for a motorcycle, there is a very prominent question that comes to your mind, that is whether the motorcycle vibrates a lot or not. Well, to answer your question, the 204V does not really vibrate that much. It's a rather smooth motorcycle. The engine feels very nice, very smooth, and that particular factor of the engine is complemented by the super comfortable seats of the RTR 204V. The seats in a sense are so well padded that they are neither too soft nor too hard, but it is definitely going to render you and your pillion fatigue free for the entirety of your journey, regardless of how many kilometers you might be clocking. In terms of overall rideability, the 204V is going to feel like a very well-rounded motorcycle, pertaining to the fact as to how well put together it is as a package. Now, it becomes your everyday hassle-free commuter when you're riding it in the city from Monday to Friday, and then it doubles up as a super fun sporty naked on the weekends when you want to take it canyon carving or when you want to take it on the highways. Having ridden the RTR 204V on diverse terrain, on the hills, on the highways and in the city, with a pillion on board with me all throughout the journey, I was easily able to eke out a fuel economy of 32 kilometers per liter. However, that is not going to be the case for you. If you decide to ride alone, the mileage you're going to get from this bike is going to be slightly higher. However, do understand this fact that it is a 200cc motorcycle, and when you compare it to the likes of a 125cc motorcycle, the mileage figures will not make any sense to you. Please do understand that there is a lot of torque readily available on tap with this motorcycle, and it makes a lot of power. So the mileage factor of it should not be a deal breaker. I would suggest you definitely give it a test ride and then decide for yourself. With all that said and done, we arrive at the most important question here, that is, who should be upgrading to the 204V? Let me tell you, anybody who's a current owner of a 110cc scooter or somebody who's riding a 125cc motorcycle, the 204V is going to be the perfect upgrade for you. With all that said and done, if you think that the TVS Apache RTR 204V is exactly the motorcycle that you want, TVS here has got you covered with their streamlined service experience that they have curated for their esteemed customers, which is now spread over all across the country. And that sums up our review of the TVS Apache RTR 204V, which has been derived from other super successful models of the lineup like the RTR 162V, the 164V and now the 164V dual channel ABS. TVS has embedded their racing DNA into these motorcycles and has been working on these bikes for a very long time, which has ultimately led to the formation of this. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe and share your thoughts in the comments below. Until next time, ride safe and ride hard.